Thanks for listening. The Lift Our Voice podcast is a production of Anchor, the easiest way to start a podcast. Download the free Anchor app right now at anchor.fm and start creating. If you like this show, remember, you can hear it on Anchor or Apple Podcast, Spotify, or other apps you use for listening to podcasts. Remember to subscribe for new episodes, Mondays bi-weekly. Hello. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome
Hi.
to the Lift Our Voice podcast. This is your podcast where we are lifting voices, one unique story at a time. So today we have a very special guest. As I mentioned earlier last week about our next episode, and I'm very excited because this special guest, he has a lot of experience. He's a U.S. military chaplain, and he's been in the service for going on 7 years. So that means he brings a lot of experience to the table, and I'm so excited to dive deep with him today to hear a lot about how he's using his voice and his ministry really to impact our service members and their family in the military. And again, today our guest is no other than U.S. Army Chaplain Clement Heal-LAV.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for being here today with us, Chaplain. And the best part about this, that he is my spouse, which is awesome.
True.
So welcome to the episode. And of course, again, this is going to be something that we want to, it's going to be very conversational because we want this to be very real and very authentic. Okay, so let's get into it.
No problem.
So tell us a little bit about your background, Chaplain.
Uh, yes, definitely. First and foremost, take this moment to thank you for your great work with Lift Our Voice. I
Mm-hmm.
think it is a very great platform uh, to provide everyone a great opportunity to express themselves so that all voices can be heard.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I am Clement Hiozawa, the son of Pastor Johnson Hiozawa Jereva, and also Deaconess Regina Ebikaria Losa, originally hailed from Nigeria.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Nigeria.
definitely. My background
Mm-hmm.
is in, you know, multiple things, but I want to say currently I'm most focused on educating people, both financially in the civilian world and also in
Mm-hmm.
the military. In the military, I'm a chaplain, so I'm the we
Right.
call it the heart and soul
That's
of
right.
the army because what we do are mostly the intangibles.
Mm-hmm.
We touch military family members and the service members in terms of
Mm-hmm.
the pastoral care that we provide to them. So
Yeah.
yes, I have a degree in pastoral ministry.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yes, and thanks for sharing that with us because, and I love what you said that you guys are the backbone because a lot of what you do is very crucial to the military, not just the service member, at least, I mean, but the entire military and their families.
Mhm.
And, it's benefiting to all of them and everyone that, being able to utilize you and your chaplaincy and your services that you do offer. I know there is a lot of great impact that's being done with the work that you and so many other chaplains do for our service members. So thank you for sharing that with us. And so you said you came from Nigeria, and how long have you been in the States, in the
And
US?
I've been to state for a little bit over 12 years now. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you've been here long enough, and I'm sure you like the America way of life, the food and the people and everybody and everything
Definitely,
else.
definitely, it's a little bit different. Even though, yes, even though I've been here for a long time, uh,
Uh-huh.
yet I still reminisce the culture that I left back home. Okay,
Yeah,
but however, we believe that travel is part of education.
exactly.
Haven't lived here for over 12 years. I've learned to appreciate uh, the culture here as well, the people
Yes.
and the food, the diversity is pretty neat and unique.
And all the opportunity that this great country and great nation have to offer, I'm sure, right? As an immigrant,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely,
it's
definitely. We,
yeah,
as an immigrant, we brought a lot of things on the table as well, and the country
right.
also provide a playing field uh,
Mm-hmm.
for everyone to play. So, which is unique.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yes, yes. So, it's it's been such a blessing, and I must say, being your spouse and just seeing all the different transitions of what you do for our service members and being on the other side of things. And I can say I'm very proud to be a chaplain spouse, first and foremost. But I mean, it's a calling in itself, but I'm very much proud to be, seated right beside you and serving alongside you, to be able to, impact our military community as much as we can.
Definitely.
So, with that being said, yes, and so when did you realize that, you wanted to be a chaplain, that this was your calling?
That's a good question. Before we actually get there, uh, let me tell you a little bit about, uh, how I was brought up. Okay. Like I
Okay.
mentioned, my dad was a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was a deaconess in Pentecostal ministry. All
Mm-hmm.
right. Um, I was raised as a pastor son. I
Mm-hmm.
I found God at my earlier age. So
Mm-hmm.
growing up, a lot of my peers would call me a small pastor. I had a unique responsibility because I learned how to read at a very early age,
Mm-hmm.
to read the scriptures and interpret it to them. And I got a lot of respect for that.
Yeah.
So I got closer to God throughout my upbringing. Even after I left my parents' home,
Mm-hmm.
I continued to search for a greater wisdom and understanding. But one thing that was unique is that I continued to find myself in a position of service, of serving others, although sometimes I try to run away from it. So I always find
Mm-hmm.
myself uh, gravitating towards helping people, uplifting others. So
Mm-hmm.
I joined the National Guard a while ago. I think
Mm-hmm.
over 7 years now. Then after I left National Guard, I became Army Reserve
Okay.
specialist.
Yes.
Then
So.
while I was doing that, uh,
Mm-hmm.
serving in the Army Reserve, a
Mm-hmm.
chaplain actually reached out to me. He said, uh, specialist, here's what I saw the way people always galvanize around you, asking you for advice and,
Mm-hmm.
uh, helping them through different things.
This was.
Excuse me, you're playing a role of a chaplain already. Why can't you, you know, find out how you can become a chaplain? I say, I've never really thought of that. So I'm just doing my what God has asked me to do, just helping others. So then he actually introduced me to a chaplain recruiter, and then
Hmm.
I got to find out how I can become a chaplain in the military. So the rest was history.
That's beautiful. So, you know, you say, I mean, when you start, your story is very, it's very powerful because you're saying at a young age, this was back in Nigeria, I'm assuming when you said
Yeah,
you
yeah,
were called.
yeah.
Okay, but you're actually being called young men of God at such a young age.
Mhm.
That's a bit of a title to be able to live up to a name such that was so big and bigger than you. But it seems that you really honored that name and you took that on and you actually made that your reality. And so since then on, you've become just this person that's about service. And I'm glad that you were able to follow that path. And now to get to the point where you're not a chaplain, a U.S. chaplain, a U.S. Army chaplain,
Mhm.
and being able to serve the military community here. So
Definitely.
with that, I know with chaplaincy, it's something that's I like to say is very prestige. Just because, I mean, when you're doing work, God's work, it's something that's very, very high and very up there with everything else. And I think um, if you don't mind sharing with our listener just a little bit about what the process may be like from someone from outside looking in, like how would it be for those that want to go into this chaplaincy
Mhm.
route? What is the process
Okay.
like, and or
That,
what the
that's
requirements also?
yeah, that's a fantastic question. There is nothing that is good, that is easy, okay?
That's
But
right.
one thing first, you have to be called of God, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you are called, you automatically qualify because whom the Lord calls, He qualifies, okay?
Exactly. That's right.
God doesn't call the qualified, but He qualifies the called, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So it is very important that when you receive the call, you accept the call.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the process, even though tedious, will become easy for you because the process itself will build you to become
Mm-hmm.
who God wants you to be. So first of
Okay.
all, you have to see a recruiter. There's a special recruiter. Um, there are special recruiter for three different um, uh, profession in the military. We have one for the medical.
Mm-hmm.
We have one for the JAG, the lawyers, and we have one for chaplaincy. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so those three branches allows direct commission. So that means you can come in as an outsider or previous service member and want to become a commission officer
Mm-hmm.
and serve in this capacity. You have to have at least a bachelor's degree.
Okay.
Okay. So once you have a bachelor's degree, and
Mm-hmm.
then you can be considered to apply into the chaplaincy. So there's something called chaplain candidate program.
Excellent.
Okay. Chap- Chaplain candidate program allows you to continue to further your education because without a master's degree, you cannot become a chaplain. But the prerequisite is a bachelor, which is the minimum to start the program. While
Understood.
you are a chaplain candidate, you become a direct commission officer, and then you go through a chibolic. Chibolic is a chaplain candidate officer basic course. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so where you learn how to become a soldier and also learn how to minister in a pluralistic um, uh, environment. So what I mean by
Excellent.
pluralistic environment,
Mm-hmm.
this is the place that has different religious background. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
also the people you're going to be serving, they might not be religious at all. But
Right.
however, my role as a chaplain in a pluralistic religious environment is to respect every soldier. Okay. or member of the service members and their families
Mm-hmm.
with or without religious beliefs. Okay. So
Okay.
also it is my responsibility to make sure everyone has a safe space to either practice or not practice religious beliefs at all, but without compromising my religious traditions. So
Right.
being in that chaplain candidate program allow you to shadow under a professional chaplain who's
Mm-hmm.
been through the process to take you in his or her arms and train you and coach you and mentor you through the process till you finish your chaplain school and also BOLIC. And then you
Right.
become you apply again to become accepted or ascension into the chaplaincy in the military.
So that to me sounds like a very, very long process. But like
Yeah,
you
it is.
said, it's something that's very meaningful. So if anyone else that's out there that want to be, that's looking into being a chaplain or has thought about being a chaplain, yes, the process may be long, but the reward and just thinking about what your role is and how you're going to be impacting those people that you're going to be serving, and it's going to be all worth it at the end, is what I'm hearing.
That's process can take up to 6 years. So I want the listener
Hmm.
to understand that the will of God will never lead you where the grace of God will not protect you.
Hmm.
Okay? Put God first and you will never be last. So as long you heed to the counsel of God and you know this is for you, regardless the obstacles on the way, how tedious it is, God will push you through to make sure you get to the finish line.
Great. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. So let's say, for example, with everything you just mentioned, with the process, if let's say there's somebody out there who's already a clergy in their ministry, and
Mhm.
they are looking into maybe going to that route, becoming a chaplain in the military. They don't have any background as far as military experience. Are those
Mhm.
individuals still consider? Are they still able to apply, or should they still look into that option? And with that,
That's a
and with them having that knowledge or being a clergy or some type of pastoral
yes,
pastoral role in the
yes,
in the church, would that be able to help
yes.
them actually get to this whole through this process faster?
That's a good question. Being a clergy um, does not mean you have the credential to become a chaplain in the military.
I see.
There are a lot of clergy men and women out there.
Right.
They don't have a master. They don't have a master degree. Okay,
Okay.
because anybody can read the scriptures and preach in the church,
I
but
see.
to become a chaplain, you need a master degree. So let's talk about a clergy with a master degree already.
Okay.
So if you are already a clergy, you have a master degree, and you have at least 2 years of ministry experience after your plus postgraduate,
Hmm.
you can come in as a captain,
Okay.
direct commission, but you have to also meet the physical requirements of being a service member,
Hmm.
and also there's the age requirements as well.
I see.
That you will have to find out with your recruiter. All right,
Hmm.
what's the age limit? So sometimes uh, they can wage that requirement due to other circumstances.
Okay.
So it's going to be case by case basis. Okay,
Right.
so a recruiter can enumerate on what are those requirements and all that in details. But there are age requirements. There are educational background requirement. It has to be a master of divinity, all right,
Hmm.
or anything related to, you know, pastoral, like counseling or ministry or anything like that.
Hmm.
So for you to be accepted, physically you have to be qualified. Ministry, good. You have to be called because clergy in the military is a total different because
Okay.
you are serving the military service members both in the chapel and also on the field.
Okay.
So you are where they are, ministering to them. So it's not going to be like congregation. Hey, guys, let's gather together here today. All right. So you have your backpack just like them. You're on the mound with them. So
Right.
you are in the foxhole with them.
You're still a
So
soldier. Okay.
yes, you
Okay.
suck wherever they suck.
Mm-hmm.
So you are eating MREs with them. So
All the
so that
basics.
is that.
Yeah.
So if you are not a fun person
Mm-hmm.
and you're just a suit guy, this might not be for you. So
Right.
be ready for fun. But this is a unique calling in a special environment. That's what we call it a pluralistic
Environment.
military environment, a
Excellent.
place where people can express or not express religious belief at all. So
Yeah.
everybody needs to be respected.
That's exactly right. I mean, like you said, the process is worth it. Being a military chaplain spouse, I myself, I've been able to take a front seat of, seeing and experiencing just the day to day and how this whole thing works and how, the process from the beginning. I remember the time and the day that you said, 2 years from like August about 2 years ago, you said you wanted to be a chaplain and just seeing the process that it took and being a part of that process also made me really give that respect to the chaplain and seeing, especially the military chaplain, because I mean, you came from a place where you already had a master's in something different, but then yet you were told to go back to school and you had to go back to school. It was maybe you finished your first school in February and in March, the military said, no, you have to go back to school and get another master. So now we're talking two masters, specifically in divinity. You can imagine how I was a bit kind of wasn't sure at first, but I knew deep down that this was the calling. I always say there's saying people have we all have our own purpose in life, and I think you have that purpose of a service, and it's something that I definitely wanted to stay behind you and support you, and it's been very worth it. And I wouldn't change anything with what the process we've been through for being a chaplain now and seeing everything, how everything is unfolding. I
Mhm.
feel really we've been blessed to be able to be in this position to impact. So that leads us to our next question. What would you say? How are you as a chaplain now? Now you've been through all the process, and now you're actually a chaplain. How are you impacting those families and those individual, the service members, to your services and to your ministry? How are you impacting them, and how are you lifting the voices of those service members and their families today?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's a great question. And first of all, I want to thank you for all your support because without you, this is impossible. It's a
Of course.
hell of a task, you know.
Yes.
Uh,
Teamwork.
sorry. Yeah, it's a lot of work, I must say. So the keys has to be taken care of at home whenever I'm gone. So,
Right.
but that is what I meant in the first place. So
Hmm.
it requires a lot of sacrifice. So even look at the life of the Savior himself. He left his throne to lay down his life. Okay. So
Hmm.
he was already a king. All right. He didn't have to come here to be a king. He was already a king. So he left all that kingship and condescended into a man born of a woman and be ridiculed. Okay.
Hmm.
For in this ministry, you will be called a lot of time to leave your family to serve. So if you don't have the heart of service and a heart of sacrifice, this is not for you. All right.
Right.
So how am I helping the service members and the family leader voices? For example, uh, there are times soldiers would come to me, a chaplain. I would like to talk to you. All right. I'm having, you know, by the way, we are 100% confidential.
Of
Okay.
course.
I mean, we are not reporting. Therefore,
Hmm.
most of our counseling are very sensitive in nature, and
Hmm.
also those information are protected. Okay.
That's
So,
great.
hey, chaplain, I'm having some issue at home, me and my wife. Okay. So I have to be able to, like a doctor, diagnose the problem and find out what's the root cause.
Mm-hmm.
So the root cause found and understood, based on my experience and studies and all, we can provide some you know, help.
Right.
The help might not come directly from me. I
Right.
have access to a lot of resources. Could be
Mm-hmm.
marriage counselor, it could be psychological, help. It could, through a third party provider. It could be like like a PTSD help. It could be, you know, people having suicide ideation. So we help diagnose all this and provide solutions and make sure these soldiers and their family members are whole again. Because if we can, uh, go to the root cause and provide the necessary support, uh, their voices can be fully heard as they continue to live. Because you have to
Mm-hmm.
be healthy. You have to be healthy.
That's right.
Stay alive to stay alive. When you stay
Mm-hmm.
alive, you can express yourself and become and live up to your full potential.
Potential. Yes.
Mm.
Thanks for explaining that like the way you did. Just kind of, I like how you took us step by step on the different aspect of services and different things that you are doing and, other chaplains are doing to be able to meet those needs of our service members and their families.
And
So, hmm
could just to add us, uh,
hmm
we report to our commanders, okay, who
okay.
are our superior. Like for example, right now my role as a chaplain in a pluralistic religious environment, I'm
hmm
the battalion chaplain. Okay,
hmm
as a battalion chaplain, I report to my commander. Uh, I am his first advisor. Okay, I'm his
Okay.
uh, ears. So because I go around meeting with a lot of soldiers, I know exactly what is going on. Even though I
hmm
cannot tell him directly the specifics of my discussion with those soldiers, I can advise him generally the climatic, how I put it, without going in more detail. I can tell him, advise him regarding the situation or the common theme or
Okay.
of the morale of the company. Okay,
hmm
so based on that, we can organize trainings to help meet the need or provide resources uh, to help meet the needs of our soldiers or service members and their families.
That's wonderful. So, I mean, it sounds like your calling, this is basically a calling, and what you're doing, what all the chaplains are doing, there's not a time or a place where you be able to be there for those families and those service members. I feel like your call a lot of the times because you never know when someone might be going of whatever situation and they may be having and they may need that service. They may need going to closing up here. So just this is a question that's very out of the ordinary, but I'm just always interested in getting to know people to the core. So what is something interesting would you say that you know that most people don't know about you?
Hmm. So you want to dig into my secret? Okay,
Now we're diving deep.
I see. Definitely, yes, yes. I think most people don't know
hmm
this part about me because they see me as someone with two associate degrees, two bachelors, and two
hmm
masters. But they didn't know I dropped out of high school three times. I didn't get my high school certificate until 23 birthday.
Wow. So you
And
dropped out of three
I,
times, you said?
I didn't start college until 27. Yes, I dropped out of high school three times.
That's powerful. It's I knew about that, but it's just coming to like to the point and I remember when you first told me that story that how you dropped out of school, and then you went back to school and you said you finished school at like 23.
Mhm.
That might have been very hard. I mean, just knowing that most of your peers, I would say, were out of school, high school then. I mean, in America here, isn't it? It's 18 years old is the standard, right, for most high school students.
Mm-hmm.
And then you, on the whole, on a whole nother level, you were, pursuing. But that's the thing. I think that's very encouraging because, just to me, that shows there is a dedication there, on your part. I mean,
Thank you.
yeah, trying to, just be persistent. And you could have probably said, you know what, this is it. I'm not going back to school. I'm what, 22, 23 now. I should be, doing other things with my life. But you actually went back and, you had that courage and you were able to encourage yourself to pursue your educational goals, to, you know, finish your high school, and it didn't matter what age you were. And I think that's what I'm taking from this is you don't have to put a number or an age on the when it comes to your education. You can go to school whenever at any age. And to me, that's encouraging for me. And what I'm taking away from this is um, you can never be too old or too young to go back and learn. And if you really do value education, don't let your age be an obstacle or something that would stop you from achieving that goal or whatever goal it may be, not just education. But I love that you share that interesting fact about yourself because you're right. Not a lot of people know that you dropped out of high school 3 times and you
Mhm.
graduated out of high school at the age of 23, to now have all these degrees, all these different 2 masters. I mean, who knew, right? So thank you for sharing that with us today, Chaplain.
No
Again,
problem.
I want to just thank you so much for being here with us at the Lift a Voice podcast. You've been such a pleasure and you've been so open with us. We're going to have you back, hopefully. We
Definitely. I would love to. Mhm.
Awesome. Well, you're welcome here anytime, of course. Um, we definitely look forward to having you on the podcast again on this another episode. Maybe you can talk about whatever else you got going on.
Thanks
Um,
for having
uh,
me.
you're
Mhm.
welcome. Is there anything else you'd like to share? What type of work you might be working on right now? And how
Def
you?
yes, sorry for that. Thank you very much. Definitely. For those that want to follow me and follow my works, there are different platforms you can listen to some inspirational messages and also
Mhm.
our business platforms. For the inspirational messages and encouragements, you may want to search for Our Lives. That's OUR space LIVES. Our Lives on your favorite listening platform. I am also on Breaker podcast, Pocket Casts, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram and Twitter. So on my business side, for those that want to follow me on how I can assist you, provide you with some financial consultation, you can
Mhm.
go to my website, wfgconnects.com/ Clement Ehiozua. So again, wfgconnects.com/
Mhm.
Clement Ehiozua. On YouTube, you find me Clement Ehiozua. On Facebook, Chaplain Clement Ehiozua. So, I'll be uh, glad that you follow me on this platform where we can
Okay.
connect and have you continue to grow. So, is there any way I can help you in any way? Feel free to reach out to me on those platforms as well. You can always email me or inbox me, and I'll do my very best to reply within 48 hours.
Great. Well, thanks for sharing that information with all of the listener. It sounds like to me you're a man that wear many hats. So thanks for sharing that. As you guys hear, this is Chaplain Ahilzwa, Clement Ahilzwa. He has an amazing podcast that he just started. It's very inspirational. Like he said, you can find it on any podcast apps, iTunes, Spotify. He is going to inspire you. He's doing a great job with the ministry, and just giving you a lot of encouraging words. So definitely check him out. on that. And then I think that's mostly what we needed to cover today. But really quick, I just want to say I'm so excited and I'm so thankful to all of you guys. I mean, when I started this podcast, I didn't really expect to have all the support that I'm having right now. And this girl is so blessed right now. I'm so thankful, and I want to thank all of you for listening to the podcast. For those of you who download the podcast, I've seen a lot of downloads, and I'm thankful for that. Thank you so much for the support, and then also I would love to connect with all of you. So if you want to, you can always leave me a voice message through Anchor podcast. You can always leave me a comment if you want to. That way we can connect more with you because I love to get to know you guys and hear what you have to say. Um, so, real quick, I know next episode is coming up soon. I'm so excited, guys, because this episode is going to be so personal and so moving. We are going to have a special guest. This actually is a person who have a lot of experience with adoption, international adoption, and she has a lot to share with us. Just the stories and what she's really been through all this. I mean, she talked about a person with a heart of gold. Like she wants to do good. She adopted so many kids from so many different countries. I can't wait for you to hear her story. I know you guys are going to be moved, and it's very personal as well. So you get to hear a little bit of my story as well within that interview. So don't forget to tune in the next couple weeks. We'll be loading that new episode up for you guys. And again, thank you for listening and see you soon.